I was recently talking about time monitoring behavior with one of my patients in the clinic. Patient obviously has insomnia and was watching the clock. And they were going through the sections that I have. They're quite elaborate in the book about time monitoring. And in my book, Sound Sleep, Sound Mind, I spend 3 chapters on this problem because it's so pervasive among people that do have insomnia. And one of the things that was very interesting was how this particular patient could so easily eliminate the clock from the bedroom, and thought that that was a very good step, and they felt a lot of confidence for having done that, and they actually began to develop some improvement from doing so. But they had continued to engage in internal time monitoring, which is very common, and I talk about that in the book at length. But it was interesting how this patient had not made that connection. When I asked the question, well, what do you do then when you're not looking at the clock, if you happen to be in bed trying to go back to sleep, or if you have gotten up out of bed to read a book or something? And through the course of the discussion, it became apparent that the individual, the patient, was noticing what the light was outside, what the sounds of traffic were, what the sounds of birds were. In other words, they were looking for all of these environmental cues because their mind was still very invested in trying to know something about the time. And so even though you might have all these external cues, whether it's the clock, the birds, the traffic, the moonlight, if your mind is still attached to that, that's what we call internal time monitoring. And that sometimes is the most difficult part of time monitoring to overcome, but yet it's extremely important to be able to stop that behavior as well as just removing the clock from the bedroom. That's one that I think is going to come up in the field of sleep medicine over the coming years.